That was an exciting game, Rube.
No, it wasn't.
It was not. The Eagles lose their preseason finale. Doesn't really matter. The next game counts.
Yeah, 26-3, I think might have been the final score. 13 days away from Saturday. Kind of just all of a sudden, here we are. Training camp's over. A couple practices this coming week, and then Sunday will be the start of the regular. Next Sunday, be the start of the regular work week. There'll be a Wednesday, and it'll just kind of go like that, and then off to Brazil, and let's play football.
Yeah, it's already here. It's really exciting. This is the Eagle Eye Podcast presented by Nissan. He's Reuben Frank. I'm Dave Zangaro. Obviously, the Eagles have some big decisions to make before they get into game prep for the game in Brazil. Final cuts by 4 p.m. on Tuesday. So some final pushes over at the link on Saturday afternoon. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the most exciting game, but some guys did help themselves. Maybe some guys hurt themselves. I had a friend text me late in the game that she was excited. They moved up to one of the front rows of the stadium, and I told her, you might get to play the last 30 seconds of this game.
Surprised she didn't get activated.
Yeah, nobody would have stopped her. Let's just go through some observations from the game. We don't have to go super deep on this. And then the second half of the pod, I really want to go through the 53-man roster, kind of see if we're in agreement on a lot of positions or if we disagree here and there. And then we'll answer a few questions at the end.
And I haven't seen your roster, you haven't seen mine, but I don't think there's a whole lot of question marks.
Yeah, there's a few different ways you can configure this. Even if we agree, I think we'll then agree that you could maybe have different people in different places.
Sure.
So that'll be fun to go through. Let's start with the game, though. We'll start with offense. It was kind of an ugly game offensively. They started off, it was a Tyrion Davis-Price show. He had the first, 6 carries of the game, and then he fumbled the football.
Yeah.
I thought Kellen Moore had a dinner reservation the way he was running the clock early in that game.
Yeah, and I get what he's doing. He's like, we're just going to run it until they stop us, but it's not an ideal way to – I know it's a preseason game. I'm not going to be critical of his play calling, but I don't think you're really doing the kid a service. He's trying to make the team. He's not going to make the team, but he's trying to impress the coaches, trying to make the practice squad. And if you get 6 straight carries, I just don't think it's possible to physically be at your sharpest at the end of that stretch, and that's when he fumbled. There's a reason guys don't run the ball 6 times in a row. Now, maybe if it's, Emmitt Smith, in the height of his career, he can handle that kind of workload. You're trying to run out the clock.
Are you saying that Tyrion Davis-Price is not Emmitt Smith?
Not yet.
Okay. Close?
I just didn't think it was fair to the kid to put him in that position. But anyway, he fumbled. It was one of their – would they have 3 turnovers and 6 failed fourth downs, I think.
Yeah. It wasn't and even though we're saying it doesn't matter, the coaches are annoyed, even if it's third string players out there.
Sure.
Before we get into the other observations on offense, I do want to mention, aside from the starters, a few players didn't play on offense who are healthy. Britton Covey, roster made. Will Shipley, obviously roster made, but nice that he gets to hang out you're a rookie, you get to hang out in that third preseason game.
Yeah.
Fred Johnson did not play. So those were the 3 on offense, and Grant Calcaterra, tight end too.
Yeah.
So aside from the starters, those guys didn't suit out.
So they're on the 53. We kind of knew that about that group.
Mm-hmm. Let's go through anyone on offense do you think had a good day?
Well, Anaya Smith had a good day. Caught 5 passes, and they weren't for a whole lot of yards, maybe 45. I didn't get a game book, but I have
it in front of me. It was 6 catches for 36 yards.
Okay. He must have had a minus in there, like a -8 or something at the end. But anyway, it doesn't matter. He's catching the ball well. It's been a tough few months. I talked to him after the game. I mean, I thought he was in jeopardy of not making the team there for a while.
Yeah, as a 5th-round pick, it's rare.
Clayton Thorson.
Yeah, you have to be pretty bad. And look, he was pretty bad early in camp.
I think Shelton Gibson, got cut as a 5th-round rookie. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen often.
What do you say about his early camp?
He said he's pressing, trying to do too much.
It looked like that.
He said, he was trying too hard. He said, I just, I just wasn't ready for the speed of the game. But when I finally kind of let the game come to me, I was able to start making plays, and that's what he's been doing. He hasn't been great, but he's done enough to, you're like, all right, he's made it through that. And I give the kid credit for doing that because it's not easy. There's a lot of pressure on. The stakes are high. There's a lot of money at stake. You get cut, you might not get another chance. We've seen that with guys. They get released, he'll go somewhere else to play. It doesn't always happen.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of righted the ship, and he had a nice punt return too down the left sideline. And he had a good last week. I thought, I told him I thought maybe it started with that 2-point conversion. He said it was before that he was starting to feel better.
Okay.
A few days before that.
It showed, man. He was a different player down the stretch.
Yeah, it really did. And that's not an easy thing to do. It's one thing if you come in, you're making plays from the start, you're confident, your teammates are confident in you. When you're that bad, and he was that bad, it's not easy to turn that around.
I mean, there was the moment where he had that one-on-one against Andre Sam. He can't get separation. He drops the pass, and then C.J. Gardner-Johnson kind of jawing at him from the sideline. It was a rough moment for him.
Yeah. So it was good to see him make some plays, and I think I mentioned this at some point to you that the Dotson acquisition, I think, helps him because now you don't have to force a Paris Campbell onto the roster.
I think it hurts Paris Campbell the most, but it helps Anaya Smith the most.
I would agree. Yeah, because now you're like you can afford to carry a guy like that who's a project. Where if you didn't have Dotson, you probably couldn't do that.
Yeah, it was nice to watch a game with you, by the way.
It's been a while.
Yeah, years, because you do the pre and post game. We didn't have a pre and post game show for a 1:00 Saturday game, so you were in the press box.
Yeah,
it was nice.
It was weird. I liked it.
Yeah, it's been a while, huh?
It's probably been since 2021. The last Tampa game was down there. It's probably the last regular season game of 21.
Wow.
Yeah. So it felt good being back in my spot. I'm glad they saved my spot.
It's good.
And yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I'm really glad they saved your spot too, because they save it every week. You're not there every week. That means the rest of us get to spread out a little bit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was. I had a lot of room too. Everyone was like moving away from me. I don't know why that was.
I don't know if I have anyone else on offense. No. I thought Tanner McKee looked good. His final stat line was ugly, but I thought he looked good today.
Interception wasn't his fault, obviously.
Mm-hmm. It was a drop that landed. It was a 4th down drop that landed in the arms of another player
from the other team.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little encouraging to see him because he had a tough week.
Yeah.
He wasn't sharp.
The numbers weren't good, but I don't really, 13 for 21, but he pushed the ball a little bit down the field, whereas Pickett really didn't get a chance to throw the ball very much.
Yeah. Just not a fan. Just not a Kenny Pickett fan.
Anyone else you want to single out positively on offense?
You mentioned Davis Price. He had a fumble, but I like the way he runs the ball.
Good downhill runner.
They're not going to keep a 4th running back. But I would think he'd be on the practice squad. Yeah.
I could play devil's advocate and kind of argue why they maybe should. I don't believe that.
Keep a 4th back.
Yeah, I mean, because he has a skill set that Gainwell and Shipley don't.
Yeah.
All the other guys do. If it's Lou Nichols, if it's Tyron Davis Price, if it's Kendall Milton, they're all just bigger backs that kind of run downhill. So if you're looking for that in a backup, especially if Saquon has to miss time, but I don't know if you need to keep that player on the roster.
Yeah, I would think practice squad for Davis Price.
Griffin Hebert had a nice game. He's not going to make the team, but 3 catches for 48 yards, a 35-yarder. He kind of had one where he came back to the football, plucked it out of the air. He showed me a little something.
Yeah, he's not bad. Was he here and then got cut and then came back?
Yeah.
Yeah. Griffin Hebert.
And even though E.J. Jenkins didn't have like a huge game, and he even had a chance to make a great touchdown catch, and he couldn't. He had one in the middle of the field. I think it was a 3rd down catch with a bunch of bodies around him. He got hit as he caught it. That was a nice catch.
Yeah.
That's all I have on offense in terms of good stuff. How about offense? Anyone that you saw and you didn't like what you saw?
I mean, they're so vanilla that it's kind of hard to. I'm not crazy about the way Kenny Pickett plays, and I I think the biggest thing with him, and we've talked about this, is his reluctance to get the ball down the field. I know they're vanilla, but he's not even looking down the field. He had Paris Campbell wide open in the end zone, and he just threw like a short out. He's tentative. He's tentative with the football. I think he's probably completed 70% of his passes this preseason because he's not throwing anything vertically. I just don't like the way he's playing.
Joseph Ngata had a rough game.
He did.
He had 2 targets, 2 drops. And that comes out after he had just a really good performance in New England. So you feel bad for him. He wasn't able to stack another good preseason game.
And that is so important is like most of these guys are going to have a good game. If you got to try to stack them and you got to catch that ball. He needs to make that play. Kenny Pickett completed 70.5% of his passes. Yeah, but for what 4.9 yards per attempt. So yeah, and then plus 6 sacks in there. So the net was terrible. He'll be number 2, but I'd go with Tanner.
I'm with you. Jacob Harris, it was a shame. He got hurt on the opening kickoff. He's someone who's flashed a little bit in training camp. He's 27, so he's not like a true developmental player. He's been in the league for a little while, but I actually saw some good things from him. He's a tall, kind of lanky wide receiver. I don't know. It was a shame he got hurt.
Yeah.
It was a chance for him to like get some good stuff on tape.
I'll tell you what, that new kickoff rule, there's a lot of violent collisions at the end of those plays. And that's when it happened. Did they say he had a concussion?
Concussion, yeah.
Yeah. It's I decided I don't like the play. I want to go back to the way it was.
I'm not there yet. I want to see it in the regular season.
Because we're not getting any big plays.
Well, we also don't know if teams are really showing everything yet. So
Maybe.
I'm going to withhold my judgment on it.
All right.
How about defense? I saw some good things on defense, certainly.
Yeah, I did too. You want to start? You want me to start?
Yeah, give me a player.
Well, Oren Burks.
Yeah.
I mean, Oren Burks is a guy who missed almost all of camp. Kind of started out the preseason as competing for a starting job, I thought. Got hurt day 1, day 2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was right day 1, and he was out there, and then he didn't practice.
Yeah, and then just came back just a few days ago, last week. And I think he had 2 full practices. He was limited maybe 2 days and had 2 practices. And they were good practices. He was active.
Yeah. Has experience.
I mean, he's a guy who's played a lot of football, and you could just tell because he was out there with scrubs or backups, and he was just on a different level. I mean, he looked quick. He looked physical. He hasn't had much time. Has he had enough time to make a run at a roster spot? I kind of think no, but
the bad news for him is that Ben Sumeren also played very well, and it might come down to one of those two for that last spot. I thought Van Sumeren he's a great preseason player.
He is, and he's a really good special teamer in the regular season. He goes 100 miles an hour, and I feel like if he had to play linebacker in an emergency, he would acquit himself okay.
I do too. I think that it's probably not ideal. I don't know if he'll ever be a full-time starter, but he's an athlete. He's very athletic.
Yeah, he is. Well, we saw that when running pass patterns.
Yeah, he should have played tight end tonight. They might have gotten some points.
And recruited for baseball. So, we'll go over our projected rosters, but I have Ben Van Sumeren on mine, and I don't have Oren Burks.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to that.
But I would not be surprised if that's reversed. Wouldn't be shocked.
Mm-hmm. Give me another player on defense.
I like the way Tristan McCollum's playing.
Yeah, he's on my list too. Now he played the whole game, which not always the best sign.
He said he hasn't done that since his last year in college.
Yeah. I like him though.
Yeah, I do too.
I had a buddy text me during the game, some sicko buddy that was watching the 3rd preseason game. I like this McCollum kid. I was like, I do too. He's played really well.
And he's had a good summer. I asked him about this year compared to last year. And he was here last year, and he said it's like night and day. He feels so much more comfortable. Lets him play fast. He said it was important. He got into a couple games as a call-up, practice squad call-up, and he said that really helped. He said just kind of...
He was up for the playoff game.
He was, yeah. He said just having that taste of it and you kind of know what to expect. So when you come back, you're like, you have that in your back pocket and it doesn't seem new to you. I think he's going to make the team. And
all right, we'll get to the roster.
I'm sorry, but I like the way he plays. Safety is a weird position because, I mean, there's three guys that fit into the equation kind of in a weird way. Like Bradbury, what do you do with him? And then you have Sidney Brown, who's out at least. I mean, they're not going to, he'll be on pup is what I'm trying to say when the season starts. And then you have Caden Stearns, who they signed, who doesn't look like he's close. So he needs safeties. Vontae Maddox is a fine backup, but I like what McCollum's doing. And I thought he really flashed. He was really active tonight.
Yeah, he flies around. Yeah, I'm used to saying tonight after a preseason game. It's still light out. Yeah. I'll give you one more, Julian Okwara.
Yeah.
And I don't think he has a shot to make the roster. He's kind of buried as a veteran. But of the two veterans they've had in camp, I thought Terrell Lewis has stood out more. But Okwara had a nice game.
He did. He had a sack.
Facing a rookie, Walter Rouse, the kid from Oklahoma.
Yeah. Okwara had a sack, 3 QB hits. And
his one QB hit was...
Yeah, it was crushing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a veteran taking out his frustration, playing deep into a third preseason game.
Yeah, probably. And I do think that edge is going to be interesting as the year goes along. I have a feeling that the rotation might change, and a guy like him, if he's on the practice squad, might have a chance to play at some point.
That would be a bad sign, but
absolutely. I put Patrick Johnson in that category too. I think, we'll see if he makes the team or not, but I think both those guys can get you some pressure. And I don't know who else. I don't know who the pressure is going to come from. So it's going to be a fluid situation, I think.
What do you make of Nolan Smith playing so deep into the preseason? Played a lot this whole preseason.
Yeah. I don't know if Nick wasn't asked about that.
No.
I wasn't in there for Nick. I was in the locker room. I don't think it's good. Maybe they just want him to get as many reps as possible.
And if he's out there against third team offensive lineman, you'd like to see him win more.
Yeah, he didn't get did he have any pressures today? I don't remember any.
I just noticed him on the field because he was on the field.
Yeah. Let me see if he was credited with any hurries or anything. Let's see. How does this site work?
Okay. One tackle, one assist on a tackle,
but no pass rush stats.
No
hurries, no quarterback hits. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's making the team, but I'm not sure where he stands.
Yeah, Zach McPherson had a rough game.
Did.
He had a DPI and then gave up another pretty big pass. I thought Cooper DeJean had a rough game. Now, take that with a grain of salt. He hasn't played since November. It's not like I'm saying he's going to be a bad player. I think he's going to be a really good player. It was a rough first game for him.
Had 2 practices under his belt.
Yeah, he had. Yeah, no, yeah. I don't take much into it at all.
Yeah,
but I think it is. It might take him a while to crack into the rotation.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think there's a chance he might be inactive the first couple of weeks. It wouldn't shock me. He's behind.
Maybe it depends on the rest of the construction of the roster because he can do special team stuff. But if they have enough guys to handle that, then it wouldn't shock me to see him be down.
Yeah,
I think that's all we have for the game, right? You have anything else from the actual football game?
No.
I'm trying to think.
I'm glad it's over.
I like the preseason.
No, I do too.
This game was a little rough. Oh, you know what? The other thing on offense, we finally got to see the 2 young offensive linemen out there, Anim Dankwa and Lakin Vakalehi. Vakalehi played left tackle and Dankwa played left guard. It was the first time we've seen them all preseason, which tells me they're not trying to hide them. They were just not willing to play them and risk an injury. But at the end of this game, they had Will Greer out there, and they
don't care if he gets hurt.
Well, I was trying not to say it like that, but he's not going to be on the team, so you feel more comfortable.
Did you see Josh McCown?
No,
he was there. Is he a coach with the Vikings? I didn't occur to me why he might be there, but
yeah, he is.
He's a coach of the Vikings?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he was in the hallway chatting.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Yeah, it was good to see him.
I also missed
the world's oldest practice squad player.
Yeah, it's true. I missed Keenan McCardell I used to work with, and he's the receivers coach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a good dude. I tried to see him. I tried to find him pregame. I didn't see him.
A really good player.
Oh, he was great. Yeah, him, Jimmy Smith.
Former Eagle Jimmy Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how he's remembered.
That's how I remember him.
All right, let's take a break, and then we'll do.
We got to keep Jeff Seidner instead. As Jimmy Smith kid's never going to amount to anything. We like Seidner.
Is that what they did?
Kept Jeff Seidner instead. Caught one career pass, I think.
That's not good. All right, let's take a break, and we'll get into the 53 on the other side. You're invited to the Birds Take Brazil pregame party. Meet NBC Sports Philadelphia experts for a live Q&A all about your Eagles. Celebrate with special guests and giveaways. We'll see you at the Birds Take Brazil pregame party September 6th, presented by Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL. All right, Rube, we're back. Let's go through the 53. We'll go position by position. I have my 53 in front of me.
Mine in front of me.
How do you want to do this? You want me to read my names and you'll tell me if you have anything different?
Sure.
Okay. Quarterback, I think this is pretty clear cut. Jalen Hurts, Kenny Pickett, Tanner McKee.
I kept Greer instead of Hurts.
Okay. Obviously, like we can have the discussion about who should be the 2, who should be the 3, but I think all 3 are going to be on the roster.
I would think so.
Any chance they would look to trade Kenny Pickett? I think it would be a bad look after you just traded for him.
Yeah, and I just honestly, I don't know if he has any more value. Might have less value now than what they
yeah,
gave
but
up
you
for.
Remember, teams aren't watching practices. They're not seeing,
Yeah, I don't think he's tradable. Because what does it tell you if you're trying to trade this guy?
Yeah, well, I mean, another team could look at it like, oh, their younger quarterback has really improved a bunch.
Yeah, I think
I think it's just a bad look. You just traded a pick for him, but
and I think it would take a really serious injury, maybe a couple injuries somewhere for a team to go that route.
Okay. Running back, I have 3.
Yeah, me too.
You did the same. Saquon, Kenny Gainwell, Will Shipley. If you were going to keep 4, who would be the 4th?
Oh, good question. Probably Davis Price.
Yeah, I think he's overtaken Lou Nichols, and that pains me to say because we're all Lou guys here.
Yeah, well, I became a Kendall Milton guy.
Okay. I think Davis Price would be the 4th if they elected to keep 4.
He runs hard.
Yeah, I like him, and he doesn't offer much as a receiving threat, but I don't know. He's a big body, runs hard.
Caught one in practice the other day.
Yeah, his first carry today or second carry, he dragged a few players with him.
Move the pile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he did have a nice catch at practice on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Receiver, I kept 6. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, Britton Covey, Johnny Wilson, and the last one, Anais Smith.
Yeah, same.
If they don't do this configuration, what else could you see?
I mean, I don't know what
options. A chance Paris Campbell would stay?
I just don't see it.
I don't either. I think, if they liked Paris Campbell, they wouldn't have made a trade for Jahan Dotson.
Right. I do think there's no reason you can't keep him on the practice squad.
Sure.
He knows the offense. And he's a guy who, I don't know. I mean, he wasn't awful. Like he wasn't.
No, he wasn't bad. He just wasn't good enough to.
And then you worry about the injuries.
Sure. But I agree with you. Keep on the practice squad, and then if you ever do have an injury to one of the top guys,
you got him right in your building.
If in that situation, maybe the rookies haven't developed enough to play them.
Yeah, it would be interesting. Is I wonder if Johnny Wilson would get the first crack at an outside, or if they would go.
Yeah, I don't know
with the Paris Campbell. I'm not sure if they feel
it's a
like
fun hypothetical.
Johnny Wilson's ready yet. So he might end up making the team, making the 53. He's definitely going to make the 53, but Campbell could still be ahead of him on the depth chart, technically, I guess. You know what those guys are making this year, the veteran guys on the practice squad?
$20,000 a week.
21.5.
Yeah.
That's
it's a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, that's way more than minimum when I started covering the team.
Yeah. But
yeah, I know.
Each state had their own currency then. So it was hard to.
Each state had their own currency. I like it.
That was a good one for me. I'll take that. Tight end. How many did you keep?
I kept 2.
Okay. I kept 3.
I figured you would.
I went with my heart.
Yeah.
I went Dallas Goedert, Grant Calcaterra, and EJ Jenkins.
Right.
You might be right on this. There's probably you only need to keep Dallas Goedert and Grant Calcaterra, and then you can keep EJ Jenkins on the practice squad. I don't think anyone's going to claim him, and then you kind of scour the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Jack Stoll could spring loose. He might make it to you on waivers.
Yeah.
But for now, I think sometimes though, it's good for a team to kind of award roster spots to a couple players who earn them. I think it's good for morale. And I think EJ Jenkins would be a really good candidate for that.
That's a good point. It's tough to do that sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have the luxury to do it.
Yeah. But if it comes down to, all other things being equal, it's a good practice.
Yeah. And last year they kept 4.
Yeah.
All season, pretty much.
I didn't get that.
Until the very end. Alberto had to be on the roster because they traded for him.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. They certainly need 3 on game days because you don't want to limit yourself. That's a whole personnel package that you have to wipe out if you don't have 3 up. So they'll have 3 on game days, but they can kind of piece it together with a third player. Offensive line, how many did you keep?
Well, you want to go through yours or you want?
Yeah, but how many players do you have?
I have 10.
I have 9.
Okay, so that gets us back even.
Yeah. Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Mekhi Becton, Lane Johnson. Easy, those are the starters. Tyler Steen, Fred Johnson, Trevor Keegan, Dylan McMahon on mine. I'm guessing you have all 9 of those.
Yep.
Who's your 10th? Brett Toth?
Brett Toth.
I don't think you need to keep Brett Toth on the
Probably
on
not.
the 53.
I like his versatility. I think they like his versatility. You could well be right. If Stout gets a spot, he's going to want Brett Toth.
Any other players who you think could be like a surprise keep? I could see
Nick Gates,
Nick Gates, or even a Max Sharping has played. I'm really hitting it hard now. He's played guard and tackle.
Yeah.
Maybe a Darian Kennard wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
I think all those guys you can just get to the practice squad if you want them.
Yeah. I mean, we agree Hennessy's not in that mix.
Well, he's hurt.
He's hurt. Jason Poe's not in that mix. So it would come.
Hennessy's still, I mean, he has a back injury. He's still walking around like.
He looks awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sharping, Kennard, Gates. I kind of have a hunch Gates might be the guy out of that group.
I like Gates.
Yeah.
I think he's played well. He can play guard and tackle.
Yeah.
I think offensive line is one of the tougher positions to pin down.
Yeah.
They've gone anywhere from like 8 to I think 11 one year.
And part of the problem is we don't know we have no idea how serious Tyler Steen's injury is, how long it'll keep him out.
Yeah. I mean, if that's any kind of serious injury, you can actually, with the new rule, you can put him on IR before final cuts and bring him back after 4 games.
Yeah. I like that rule.
I do too. It really does kind of I haven't used it much on my 53 because I don't really know how teams are going to use it, but it adds a new wrinkle.
It does.
That's fun. Let's go defensive tackle next.
Yep.
We're on defense. I have 5.
Same.
Okay, so Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, Marlon Tuipulotu, and Moro Ojimo.
So I have.
It was tough to cut Thomas Booker.
Yeah, he's really played well.
He played really well. And
I thought he played well today.
Yeah, you can certainly make the case that he deserves to be on this roster.
Yeah, I agree. And, I think maybe a week ago, PJ Mustipher would have been my next guy, but I think it's Booker now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mustipher's only chance is if they really want that prototypical big-bodied backup for the nose tackle position.
And Vic basically said we don't care.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Edge, I have 6.
I have 6.
Oh, we're so boring. Josh Sweat, Bryce Huff, Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Patrick Johnson.
Yeah.
Patrick Johnson's going to be on this team, I think.
Yeah, I tried to cut him. I was like, I don't want to cut him. I like what he does. But I just kept running the numbers, and I just wanted him on there. And I think, there's a lot of questions at that edge spot, and there's a lot of uncertainty, I think is a good word. With Patrick Johnson, you know what you have, and he's gonna be mainly a special teamer, but he can crank up a little pressure here and there if you put him out there. So it just gives you another option if you need him there. And
then if Terrell Lewis and Julian Okwara don't find a spot on the 53, You can bring one of them to the practice squad and have a veteran there in case you need them.
I wonder if Acquara did enough today to move ahead of Lewis. I think he might have. He looked pretty good.
Yeah, I think Lewis has been better all summer, though.
He has.
Yeah, it wasn't enough for me to move him past him.
But, games, they take those into account.
Less than practice.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I think they tell you that by not playing their starters.
Yeah.
Linebacker, gosh, we're going to have the same defense, aren't we? 5?
Yeah.
Devin, I hate this. I hate when we agree. Devin White, Nakobe Dean, Zach Bond, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Ben Sumarin.
Yeah, and I was
Oren Burks didn't do enough for you?
I was really tempted to keep Oren Burks and cut Ben Sumarin, but I just don't think it's going to happen. If he had another week, maybe.
So I could convince myself about Burks because they signed him first week of free agency. Yeah. They didn't wait long. I mean, it
was a big move when they signed him. I mean, it was a significant move.
Yeah.
They give him a ton of money.
Notable. I mean, he has some experience.
We thought when they signed him, we thought this guy could compete for a starting job.
Yeah, maybe he would have if he was healthy for camp. Everyone else did, so why not?
Are there any possible surprises in that group? I mean, Nakobe's not getting cut. Trot Jr.'s not getting cut.
No, at the top 4.
Zach Bond, Devin White, either one potentially in trouble. Devin White hasn't made a lot of plays.
I don't think he's in trouble. Yeah, I mean, that would be very surprising. Now, look, if they were to do it, you could look back and be like, he hasn't flashed, but I don't know. He's a veteran. They gave him a little bit of money.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just kind of, throwing it out there. I agree with you.
Yeah. How about corner?
I kept 17 corners.
How many?
I kept Job, Quinion, Eli, Ringo, Isaiah, Slay, and Cooper DeJean. 7.
7. I kept 6.
You cut Job?
I cut Josh Job. And that wasn't easy. But my thinking on that was that it seems like Isaiah Rodgers is going to be the next guy up as the outside corner. Like, I think Quinion Mitchell will start outside in base, move inside for nickel, but Isaiah Rodgers is going to play it quite a bit. That makes Keely Ringo a backup. Ringo really improved as a gunner. So it might make Job a little more expendable.
Okay. Zach McPherson might have been ahead of, I don't think he was ahead of Job, but if he was anywhere close, he's not anymore.
And Eli Ricks, it's tough to keep him because he's not going to play. There's guys ahead of him, but I am just not in the business of, I don't think the Eagles should be in the business of cutting young, talented cornerbacks.
And Howie said those exact words.
Yeah.
You want as many as possible. I like Eli Ricks, and
we always talk about guys who, this time of year is like, he'll get claimed, and then they never get claimed. I actually could see a team claiming him. I think he might have a little bit of trade value.
That's what I was about to say. I think if you can get anything for him, do that. But it would probably be a 7 that could become a 6. He's not going to play, like you said.
Yeah, it's tough. But I think he might be worthwhile developmental player.
Yeah.
Safety.
I kept 4. I kept Reed, CJ, McCollum, and Maddox.
You sure you have 53 on this roster?
Yeah.
Okay. I kept 4 as well. Gardner Johnson, Blankenship, Maddox, and McCollum.
Yeah. Any chance anyone else? I mean, Bradbury. Do you have any?
So that's something we can talk about. He did not play in this game, and I think a lot of people took that as he's got the team made. I did not take it as that. I think, and this is just a theory, there's no information behind this, I think they wanted to keep him healthy.
I'm counting up my guys.
I think you have 54. Because I don't know how you had 7 cornerbacks and 4 safeties. It's one way to win a contest.
It's not a contest, 39. A 53.
Okay. Oh, you had 2 tight ends. That's
I went light at tight end.
You made the spot. Okay, that's fair. I like McCollum. They could probably sneak him through. I like him, though.
Yeah.
He's played well. And then your specialists are your specialists. You
Yeah.
think any chance they play the game with Rick Lovato to steal a spot like they did in the past?
Yeah, they've done that.
They did it once.
I don't know if they need to, though.
They cut him. They brought him back.
Yeah. I don't know if you need to.
I don't think you do.
Yeah. So this will all be, I assume they're going to make some moves on Monday. They usually do, like 5 or 6 guys. And then 4 p.m. Tuesday, we'll talk to Howie and Nick after that.
Yeah, that'll be our next podcast, barring major news.
Which this time of year, you never know.
Never know.
Yeah.
That's good. That was fun. I talked to Jahan.
And I think the fact that, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think the fact that our rosters are so similar tells you there's just not that many spots that are up for grabs.
Yeah, I think there are, though. I mean, there are certain positions where I could see different things happening.
But I'm saying there's not that many.
Not that many. Yeah, and by the time you get to this point in the summer, a lot of those decisions are really made for you.
Yeah.
Talked to Jahan Dotson a little bit.
Yeah.
After the game, he obviously didn't play in the game, but he admitted that it was kind of a shock for him to get traded from Washington. But he said he got goosebumps just being on the sideline. He said, like, people were going crazy in the fourth quarter now there weren't a ton of people there, but he said people were going crazy at this game a little bit. Fans.
I mean, they were doing the wave. I'm not sure there was. Yeah. You know who did the song Goosebumps?
Travis Scott. Yeah.
Ian Lloyd. Remember Ian Lloyd? He was a guy. He was.
I think we're talking about 2 different versions of
I only know one song. I believe it was produced by Rick Ocasek of the Cars. Ian Lloyd. Okay. Great song.
It was good to talk to Dotson, though. He said he's putting in a ton of work. He even has a Zoom meeting set up tonight with some coaches to go over the playbook. He's got to learn it fast. Though he has a week and a half and he plays receiver.
Yeah.
It's not like he's quarterback here.
He doesn't have to learn the whole playbook. He just has to learn whatever place he's going to run.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he'll be fine by now. The question is, does he have a passport?
I think the Eagles might be able to expedite that.
Might have to rush that. Yeah. But yeah, it's an exciting move. And it's, I talked to Paris and Anais about the whole picture there, and they're both very honest and understand what's happening and how that changes the whole equation there.
I want to get your take on something.
Yeah.
Jahan Dotson walks into his press conference with a football, and I thought it was kind of interesting. He was asked, like, why you have that football. He said, no, I just like to carry football. And our buddy Daniel Gallen, who used to cover the Eagles, now covers Penn State, said on Twitter that that's something Dotson's been doing for a couple of years. I even found an interview with NFL Network where he's talking about it. He just carries the football everywhere with him.
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Daniel Gallen, big music guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Been to a lot of concerts with him. Just throwing that out there. Big Guided by Voices fan.
I think maybe you'll start doing that, just carry football everywhere?
No, I'm just going to carry my laptop there.
My cousin has a baby. The baby had a first birthday today. I got the baby a football.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jahan Dotson.
It's a little football. It's not a full size, but it's like an actual football. Has laces, and I don't know baby stuff. So I'm in Walmart and I'm trying to find a present. And I see a football. I'm like, well, what 1-year-old boy wouldn't want a football?
Yeah.
Call my mom and said, hey mom, can I buy a football for a baby? She said, yeah, go for it. So baby has a football now.
You had to call your mom to get.
I don't know if babies can have footballs.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know what babies can have.
Why can't a baby have a ball? Football.
Well, baby has a football now.
Okay.
That's all we have.
You have to call your mom to check on my birthday present?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Right.
Doesn't exist. All right, let's take a break. We'll answer some questions and then wrap this podcast up.
You deserve a car that thrills you, a car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. At Nissan, we got everything from turbocharged SUVs to 100% electric vehicles that'll make your heart beat faster. Experience the thrill for yourself and shop your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today.
Celebrity cook Steve Martorano brings his Italian-American cooking back home to Philly. Enjoy Martorano's Prime at Rivers Casino and Steve's famous meatballs with Sunday gravy, prime steaks, and more. Make reservations at Martorano's Prime on Open Table. All right, Rube, we're back. Before we get into the questions, I had some people asking me because you had your photo with facial hair. I had people asking me for a photo of me without facial hair. So here it is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was my college graduation photo. And I had facial hair in college, but my mom asked me to shave for the official photo. Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah, you listen to mom.
Well, apparently that's twice you've listened
Yeah.
to her.
I'm a good son.
So
Yeah, that's me. No facial hair.
okay.
Not as shocking as your photo, I don't think.
That was pretty shocking.
Yeah. There it is. Young baby face Dave Zangaro. If you have a question for us, it's eagleeye@nbcuni.com. If you're on YouTube, there's a QR code. You can scan that and send it to us that way. Let's get into it. First question here, Alex from Adelaide. If you could trade one player from a current or former Eagles team to another year's Eagles team, what would it be? The only rule is that the trade has to be feasible for improving both teams. For example, 1992, either Seth or Byron for 2023, DeAndre Swift or Kenny G. This, in my opinion, would be a net improvement in each team by addressing a weakness, one trade each.
Boy, that's too deep for me.
How about we deal with this Eagles team? If you had the trade for another player from another era on this team, so like, what's the weak spot on this team?
By the way, I was gonna say maybe you could trade for Reggie White. There was a guy with a 92 jersey walking around the pregame show, radio pregame show, and Elliot. I love Elliot Short Parks. He's like 92. Who's 92? Like, dude, I know you're young, but my goodness. Yeah, I would trade like a 2 and a 5 for Reggie White.
How about player for player? Well, Reggie's probably pie in the sky.
Yeah. I don't know. Does it have to be realistic?
Yeah, maybe like
'Cause I think that's what they need most.
an edge rusher.
Yeah. Who you know is going to get you 15 sacks.
Oh, well, okay, that's a high price. You have to trade a really good player.
Well, that's the hypothetical.
Maybe the 2017 Eagles, you can trade for a Chris Long.
Okay.
How about Chris Long for Keely Ringo?
Okay.
You don't like that?
Yeah, it's so hypothetical to me. I can't wrap my arms around it, but sure.
You can't wrap your head around it.
I think Chris Long. I think they have Chris Long level pass rushers. That's not a knock on him. I mean, he was like a 6. What do you have? 6 sacks that year?
Something like that.
5 or 6. I think they have that.
So they got.
I think they need that next level. How about like maybe William Fuller?
Okay.
Like 95 team didn't.
What did that team need?
Team needed a quarterback. How about Tanner McKee for
William Fuller? Okay. I like that.
I mean, Rodney P did his best, and he put up 58 points in a playoff game, but he had like 12 interceptions and 9 touchdowns in a regular season. If they had Tanner McKee.
Okay. I like that. Tanner McKee for William Fuller. That's good.
There's my trade.
There you go.
I have to throw in Tanner McKee in a 5.
Next question from Inars. I think it's Inars. Hi. First of all, thank you so much for the best podcast for Eagles fans. I'm from far north Sweden and rooting for the Eagles since 2012. My question is, what do you think will be the plan for Cooper DeJean this season?
Yeah, well, thanks for writing from all the way in Northern. That's incredible. I think first they got to get him kind of caught up. I think he's behind. He missed a lot of time, physically and mentally. I think they got to kind of get him caught up, and then I think he'll be in the slot, and we'll see. I think he'll probably be the backup slot.
Yeah, I think the start of Avonte Maddox will probably be the extra DB in the dime package, but I don't think it'll take Cooper long to take that role.
No, I don't think so. And I think you'll see him on the field maybe by week 3. That's my guess.
Yeah, kind of curious to see what they do because obviously recent staffs have not been in a hurry to play young players. So I wonder if that changes with the new coordinators. And Vic will have obviously a ton of autonomy. So
I think it's a Howie thing to a great extent. Because
no, I disagree.
I think that starts with Howie. I think Nick believes in it and agrees with it. But
I totally disagree. I think Howie wants them to play the young players.
I don't think he does.
Oh, he drafted them.
I know, but I think
even Howie mentioned, after last season that we have to play more young players. And we know that.
Last season they needed them. But I think as far as bringing guys along slowly,
I think I really disagree with that.
Okay.
I think Howie wants to play the guys he drafts.
I think he feels like if they're not ready, don't rush them.
Okay. Yeah, I maybe don't like force them in the situations that are bad for them, but I think if Howie had his druthers, like Nakobe Dean would have played 2 years ago, they would have found ways to get younger players on the field. Yeah. Nolan Smith, he even lamented the fact that Nolan Smith didn't play as much after last season.
Yeah, there are some examples. I just think Howie is really careful about guys playing before they're ready.
Okay. Let's see here. We only have a couple more. Ryan from Cape May. Love the pod. You guys do great work. Do you see a scenario where if Cam Jurgens were to get hurt toward the end of the season, don't stop me before I'm done.
Example.
Jason Kelce comes out of retirement for a playoff run. The Eagles seem to be in redemption mode this year, and I could see Howie coaxing Kelce to come back for one more Super Bowl run to give the team the best chance possible. Your thoughts?
No, he's not going to play again.
It'd be tough for him to come back after that hour-long goodbye and the weight loss.
Done that, but I mean, by the end of the year, he's going to be at like 185.
He might be. He's losing. He looks a lot smaller.
Yeah.
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back ever.
I mean, he'll be around. He's around more now than he was when he played. Last question here from Brandon. It's my first time writing in a question. Love your podcast. I listen to y'all pretty much every day to get through the workday. Rube just needs a section every pod for music suggestions. I'm into it. We have that. It's just right after we're done recording. So my question is about the secondary. It's wild to me how quickly they've amassed an embarrassment of riches in the back seven. Yeah. Do you see Fangio getting crazy with formations for these guys? I assume your top six are Slay, Rodgers on the outside, Q and Coop in the slot, Blankenship and CJ at safety, mixing in Sidney when he's back healthy, and you even have Ringo and Maddox in the mix. Seems like you have a ton of positional versatility here. Imagine the possibilities of sub packages and being truly fluid from play to play. This defense should be fun to watch during the season. Football gods grant us health.
I don't think there'll be a ton of that.
A ton of
just kind of mixed, just different combinations, snap to snap.
Maybe not snap to snap, but I think they'll line up in different places at times.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But
especially because so much of the Vic Fangio defense is like, hey, we want to look the same at the snap, but then change everything. And they have pieces to be able to do that.
But I think personnel wise, I don't think you see wholesale guys running on and off the field.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
I can see like some of those roles changing. I think they will be a dime team quite a bit.
Yeah.
They haven't, I mean, they under Gannon, like it was a running thing. Like, we're not a dime team. Even said that. Now they can be a dime team. They have the players back there to do it.
Yeah. And they didn't when he was here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have Brandon also has music for you here.
Okay.
Check out Children of Nova and or Pigeons Playing Ping Pong if you get a moment on a flight or a long drive.
I've seen pigeons playing ping pong. I saw them live.
I wish that was literal.
They have a guitar player. What is his name? He's one of the most amazing guitar players I've ever seen. His name is Jeremy Schon, Schon. Absolutely unbelievably great guitar player. But as a band, it's not what they're very jammy, and like all their fans make pigeon noises when they come out and between like songs. Yeah, it's just, what was it?
Who?
That's an owl, I think.
Yeah, you're right. What sounds a pigeon make?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was but they're great musicians.
It's a good name. It's a fun alliterative name.
Yeah, I guess it is. Kind of jammy, funky. Do
you know the other one, Children of Nova?
Children of Nova, I don't know.
I'm assuming they're from the main line.
You would think they're from Radnor Township. Yeah. I call them Children of Radnor Township. Children of Nova. Let's see here. I got a bunch of stuff up here. I will check them out, but I don't know them.
Okay, cool.
I did see a concert last night, by the way, that actually you might have liked. It was at the Keswick.
Okay.
Last night being
Friday night.
So it was, they're called the Big Star Quartet. So Big Star, just seminal, great power pop band of the 70s with Alex Chilton, who sang The Letter for the Box Tops when he was 15 years old. The one surviving member is Jody Stevens, the drummer. And they've put together this band with Pat Sansone from Wilco, Mike Mills from REM, John Auer from the Posies, and Chris Stamey from the DBs, who I once saw open for REM at the Tower Theater. And Jody Stevens playing drums. And they do...
The DBs have gotten better this year. Yeah.
The DBs are playing Johnny Brenda's soon, actually. They haven't played in Philly in like 30 years.
Say hi to Quignon for me.
He'll probably be there. But yeah, it was really great hearing those songs and hearing an original member of Big Star surrounded by these incredible musicians. Attendance wasn't great. Apparently there was another concert in town last night that might have drawn some potential attendees, but yeah, it was a good night.
Cool.
So yeah, Big Star Quartet playing the music of Big Star. Alex Chilton.
If you enjoy the Eagle Eye podcast, please do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. If you're watching on YouTube, please click the like button, subscribe there as well. We'll be back with you guys Tuesday after Final Cuts. We get to talk to Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni.
Nick and Howie comedy show.
Oh, no, that one they're normally pretty serious because they had to make the cuts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Howie does take that
yeah.
That
It's because it's a bad look to be yucking it up after you just
cut 50 guys.
Yeah. Any other final words?
Nope.
Yeah, can't wait. Preseason's over, guys. Next game counts. A lot of fun here. For Reuben, Dave, this has been Eagle Eye presented by Nissan. We'll talk to you soon.